Hey everyone, it's Kong again, and it's time for another episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'll be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. How these 2 characters fit into your team, whether they unlock any bonds, what kind of content they get used for, and their future availability. So let's get right to it. This is a raid-up banner featuring Alustriel and Angelina, and it runs from October 29th to November 11th. And it's not a Destiny banner, so it's definitely possible to summon an off-banner hero even on your first SSR. It makes it difficult to reliably snipe one of these characters, but if you really need them, then it's something worth considering. Okay, so we'll get started with Alustriel. Alustriel is a highly mobile archer. Her mobility is helped along by her talent, which lets her move through up to 4 defensive tiles at no cost. She also has a unique helm in the Secret Realm shop that lets her ignore guard if she attacks from a forest or grassland or mountain tile, and this essentially makes her functionally a long-distance assassin. Her assassination potential is further amplified by her upcoming 3-cost skill, which converts 2 enemy buffs into random debuffs before battle, and it gives her a whopping 20% damage boost for each buff converted this way. This 3C skill is coming to global servers in mid-November, which is just a couple weeks away. In general, she likes to use Uller's bow because it helps her bone dinos get in on the assassin action with her at 2 range. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, Origins of Light, buffed by Dehart, Jugler, and Freya, and Strategic Masters, buffed by Ultimuller and Lanford. For bonds, she doesn't roadblock any other SSR character's bonds, at least for now. For her own bonds, she only needs the free starting characters Matthew and Almeida, so super easy. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Valkyrie, Scylla, and Phoenix in the Eternal Temple, and her mobility could make her a good Sheikah sweeper in the Phoenix fight. She's also on faction for Jormungandr, Hugin and Munin, and Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning. As an archer, naturally she's a top-tier option against Hugin and Munin in particular. Her mobility also makes her a great all-round pick for general-purpose PvE content like Timeless Trials and Challenges, for example. On the PvP side, her huge effective range makes her quite a threat and helps her zone out other long-distance strikers like Zerida. She excels on certain Apex maps and struggles on others, and this is because of the terrain requirement of her unique helmet, and because of the availability of defensive tiles for her talent. Her situational guard-ignoring helmet and her upcoming buff-stripping, damage-boosting 3C really do help her along in general, though. She also gets a viability boost in Season 6 with the rise of the Legion of Glory faction as a viable PvP faction. For availability, she's actually not on the predicted banner schedule at all in the near future, so don't expect to see her headlining a banner before mid-April at the absolute earliest. That's as far out as any new content coming to China right now, so that's as far away as we know. Okay, so let's move on to Angelina. Angelina's talent increases her defense if she's on a defensive tile, and increases her attack otherwise, so she always has a stat boost of some sort on the go. She has a bunch of skills that revolve around getting additional actions, and her unique gear makes it so her buffs don't cool down when she takes advantage of those opportunities. Her 3-cost skill, for example, is a particularly disruptive AoE attack that pushes enemies back, has a chance to freeze them, and lets her act again if she connects with 3 or more targets. She's a member of Princess Alliance, buffed by Shelfaniel and Luna, Meteor Strike, buffed by Zerida, and Yelus Legends, buffed by Landius and Sigma. For bonds, she unlocks the defensive bond for Rachel and the attack bond for Shelfaniel. And for her own bonds, she only needs Matthew for her defensive bond, but she does need Shelfaniel for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Phoenix, Leviar, and Scylla, and she has good mobility and ally rescuing capabilities with Alternate, for example, that could make her a solid option against Scylla. In fact, Alternate and her flyer mobility can make her a helpful overall pick for solving problems in general PvE content like story, timeless trials, and challenges, and so on. She's also on faction and a solid pick against both Jormungandr and Nidhogg in Ancient Beckoning. Her 3-cost skill makes Angelina a dangerous nuisance in Apex Arena, and the upcoming Season 6 meta is going to be kind of a mixed bag for her. The displacement can be great against multi-tank teams that rely on positioning, but then Hilda launches in March with a command aura that prevents nearby allies from being displaced. For availability, like Alustriel, she's not appearing on the predicted banner schedule in the near future, so don't expect to see her headlining a banner before mid-April as well. That's not to say that she's going to suddenly appear in April, that's just as far out as we know that she's not coming. Okay, so here's the quick and dirty. We have Alustriel, who's a highly mobile archer who's a solid pick for PvE and PvP. She has a unique helm that lets her ignore guard if positioned correctly, and she's a meta pick versus Hugin and Munin. We also have Angelina, who's a solid PvE and PvP bruiser. She has a highly disruptive 3C skill, and she unlocks the defensive bond for Rachel and the attack bond for Shelfaniel. And finally, just the usual reminder about upcoming banners, in case this helps you make your decision. We've got a couple more catch-up banners coming after this one. Next week is a Destiny banner featuring Gerald and Layla, the Knight of Mystery, and solid Season 6 tank Elucia. The week after that is another Destiny banner, this time a rerun of the Ledden, Rachel, and Altamuller banner. So there is some solid stuff available to you, and it is 2 Destiny banners in a row, so if you're missing any of those units, you have a good shot at a guaranteed unit. Might be something to think about when we just have a raid up this week. The next new characters are coming out after those catch-up banners, so we have the interesting new healer and Hilda Bond Unlocker Florentia, and strange little ninja Tsubame. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you're braving the lack of a Destiny summon to try to pull someone on this banner, or if you're saving up, or if you're like me and you're just simply broke from summoning the Sage. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon.